My name is Elizabeth, 32 years old, an associate professor of creative writing at Harvard. I lecture on narrative and ethics in the classroom on ordinary days, teaching my students to confront every word they put down on paper. But tonight, I'm slouched in the back of a black Bentley, dressed in an ivory cashmere sweater with my long black hair straightened, waiting to answer a summons to act as a stand-in. The man in a suit sitting in the passenger seat handed over a non-disclosure agreement.
Miss Elizabeth, all you need to do is stay quietly by Mr. Richard's side and impersonate someone.
Who do I have to impersonate?
Daisy, his fiancée who passed away 4 years ago.
I flipped open the document. The girl in the photograph had timid eyes and brows, just like a frightened kitten. How long do I have to impersonate her?
6 months. Richard has never been able to accept Daisy's sudden death, and you will act as a transitional object to help him find peace.
I took this job for reasons far beyond money.
Why?
Daisy was my student. She plagiarized her novel back then, and I filed a report in accordance with school rules. She was forced to drop out and later died in an accident. For 4 years, I've endlessly replayed the what if. What if I'd never turned in that report?
You were her professor all along?
He then cut through my train of thought, telling me not to dwell on the past and only to fulfill the companionship requirement.
Daisy.
I kept smile faintly in silence, silently reminding myself deep down. Richard, I'm back.
You're different.
Where?
Her smile would linger a second longer. Yours fades far too quickly.
Though I kept smile faintly in silence, silently reminding myself deep down. I'm not here to make amends. I'm only here to face the ending I brought about with my own hands all those years ago. During my first week living in the Beacon Hill Villa, my days were extraordinarily quiet. Richard kept a rigid routine, heading out early and returning late each day. Whenever he was home, I would sit reading in the armchair by the window, mimicking Daisy's every mannerism. That day I acted differently on purpose, swapping the whiskey he handed me for Japanese green tea.
She drinks whiskey.
She has a weak stomach. She only drank whiskey with you to indulge you. Privately, Sencha's her favorite. Back when she came to me for advice, she always brought a thermos filled with it. Richard froze right away. This private detail wasn't in the substitute's files. It was a memory I'd kept for 2.5 years.
How could you possibly know?
I merely did sufficient homework.
You're right. Her stomach was delicate. I overlooked it.
You ought not to have forgotten. He looked up and studied me, his eyes full of curiosity, as if seeing me for the very first time. I keep making mistakes. He was used to working late into the night in his studier. Daisy used to bring him a mug of hot cocoa there. I brought one too, only I'd stirred a pinch of sea salt into the cocoa.
She
just never told you. She was afraid you'd think she was too picky. She likes sea salt.
How do you know that?
It's in the file.
It's not. But then how did you know?
I read it in one of her writing exercises, in a draft notebook. Finally, someone put sea salt in my hot cocoa.
She never told me.
She didn't write it for you. She wrote it for herself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're starting to look more and more like her.
Am I?
So much so, I forget you have a name.
My name is Elizabeth.
I know, but every time you bring tea, what I remember is her face.
Then remember her. You don't need to remember me. Richard began testing me. He took me to a tiny French bistro in Cambridge. Daisy's favorite Ben Life, a tucked-away venue with only 8 tables. Confit de Canac.
Daisy never ordered confit de canot.
She only didn't order it at first. The second time you brought her here, she tried yours, and she fell in love with it.
She never told me?
It wasn't that she wouldn't tell you. She was afraid you'd switch her dish, and she'd miss out on the flavor you loved.
How do you know it was the second visit?
Your credit card records show 17 charges at this restaurant. For the first visit, she ordered the same cod. On the 4th, she got confit de canot. She never ordered anything else after that.
You looked through my credit card statements?
I didn't. You gave me her journal. Have you read the table of contents? On the back? She wrote, "He finally let me try his confit de canot on the 4th visit. He thinks I didn't notice. I noticed everything." He opened his phone, pulled up the digital version of the diary, and scrolled to the table of contents. There was indeed a line of small print on the back.
Elizabeth.
This is the first time he's called my name.
Who exactly are you?
The transitional object you hired?
A transitional object wouldn't know the confit can now happen on the fourth visit. No dossier could tell you that.
You can choose to dismiss me.
I'm not dismissing you.
Why?
Because you've made me realize I owed her that fourth time.
Richard's attempts to test me intensified. He took me to his old family house on Cape Guard, a seaside cottage he had never brought any outsiders to before.
This was painted on her 22nd birthday. That day she said to me, "Richard, I don't think I'll live to see 30.
Why would she say that?
Because she felt she didn't deserve it. Her advisor submitted an academic misconduct report to the committee. She didn't graduate. She thought she was a fraud.
That advisor.
Creative writing program. Elizabeth.
I stared at the painting. Daisy's eyes, captured in oil paint, gazed beyond the frame, faintly pleading, as if begging for forgiveness. Richard.
Do you know what she said to me in the end? She said, "I'm not a good writer. I'm just someone who wrote a few lines."
I stood there, the glow from the fireplace washing over my face. 4 years earlier, at the academic integrity hearing, 20-year-old Daisy had sat in a chair 3 meters away from me, her hands clutching the edge of the table, uttering those exact same words. She didn't mean it like that.
What?
When she said I'm not a good writer, she meant I wasn't good enough for you. She was apologizing. She was apologizing for disappointing you, not for plagiarizing. She was apologizing for letting the people who loved her down.
How do you know?
Because I was one of the people who let her down too. I began to lose sleep. It wasn't the unfamiliar bed. It was that oil painting of Daisy. Her eyes kept recurring in my dreams. She sat across the hearing table, clutching its edge with both hands, nails digging into her palms. Her voice was flat when she said, "I didn't mean to plagiarize." It was equally flat when she said, "I couldn't write it." Before walking out of the conference room, she shot me a glance. There was no hatred in that look, only a quiet acknowledgement, "You are right too." At 3 o'clock in the early hours of the third day, I sat in the kitchen drinking cold senja. Richard walked in. He was wearing a dark navy robe, his hair messy. It looked like he couldn't sleep either.
You couldn't sleep either?
I can't rest when things are left unspoken. He opened the fridge and took out a bottle of sparkling water.
Elizabeth, I need to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Did you come here purely because of the contract?
I need money. But someone who only needs money wouldn't take this job.
Then why did you take it?
Because there's something I need to find out.
What is it?
I want to know, after you've done one thing wrong, can you still get the next one right?
You did something wrong?
Something terrible. He did not press me for answers. Rising to his feet, he retrieved a cup from the cupboard, poured himself sencha, then took a sip just as I had.
Why isn't it bitter?
Because it's cold. Daisy drank hers cold too.
Are you talking about her or about yourself?
I'm talking about all of us. Richard went through Daisy's things, boxes he'd left unopened for 4 years. One weekend afternoon, I read in the living room. He brought 3 sealed boxes down from the attic marked Daisy 2019-2020.
I want to see what she wrote.
You haven't looked through them for 4 years?
I didn't dared. I was afraid I'd find words that said I was suffering.
Why do you dare now?
Because of you.
The box had Daisy's 17 notebooks, all different sizes and colors. He took the top one, flipped a few pages, stayed quiet for ages, then passed it to me.
This one's about you.
I took it. Daisy's writing was on the first page. Professor Shaw told me, keep writing no matter what. I wrote 400 words today. It's bad, but I finished it. I sat flipping pages. All said her writing was bad. Page 17 read, Professor Shaw first told me to keep writing. I never thanked her.
She's thankful to you.
What she's grateful for is keeping writing, not me.
You are that keeping right.
I keep making mistakes. He's working in the study, and I carry in a coffee. Black, no sugar. Daisy Lim's usual order. But there's an extra plate of butter kuskits on the tray. Richard lifts his head the moment he sees the plate of biscuits.
Daisy never put out cookies.
I wouldn't. But I want you to know, when she loved you, she remembered everything you never said. She remembered you'd reach for a cookie after your coffee. He picked up one and took a bite.
Are you telling me she loved me more than I knew?
I'm telling you, it's time to upgrade the way you remember her.
How?
Upgrade from she liked whiskey to she switched to whiskey for you. He set down the biscuit.
Elizabeth, you sound like her sometimes. Like someone else other times.
Who?
Like someone speaking for her.
I gaze out at the Charles River. The ice glows pale blue in the afternoon light. Because I'm saying the things she left unsaid. Saying the words she would never say to you. Richard Gordon's mother had arrived. Catherine Gordon, 63 years old, born into Boston's old blue-blooded elite, was clad in a custom-tailored suit with her hair pulled back into a perfectly sleek low bun. Her expression froze the moment she laid eyes on me.
So you're the transitional object?
Hello, my name is Elizabeth.
I know who you are.
She settled onto the living room sofa, her posture as poised as a portrait.
I looked into you. Associate professor at Harvard. You taught Daisy. You submitted that report to the Academic Integrities Committee.
Richard came down the stairs.
Mother.
Don't speak.
She looked at me.
I'm asking you, why did you submit that report?
Because she plagiarized.
Did you know she was on the verge of a mental breakdown?
I did.
Did you know she dropped out?
I did.
Did you know what happened to her afterward?
I did. She stood up. She was half a head shorter than me, yet her gaze was like a scalpel.
Then how dare you sit in my son's house? Wear her cardigan. Hold a teacup the way she did.
Ma'am, I looked into her eyes. I'm not here to impersonate her. I'm here to finish what she never got to complete.
What?
She didn't get to graduate. She wrote 3 short stories, each better than the last. She never got to turn in the final one. I wanted to submit it for her. Catherine stood there. The warm light of the living room fell upon her silhouette, and I saw her lips twitch, a tiny tremor no one had ever witnessed.
You submitted her paper.
I already did, last week. I found the last piece she wrote after dropping out, credit it to her. The Harvard Creative Writing Program accepted it as an honorary completion.
She didn't graduate.
She has now. Catherine looked at me. A long moment passed. Then she turned, said nothing, and walked toward the door.
Elizabeth Shaw.
Ma'am.
She called me before she left. She said, Mom, Professor Elizabeth is the only truth I ever had.
She pushed the door open and left. Richard stood on the stairs watching me. He said,
She knows
Knows what?
that you were her advisor before I hired you.
She does. She looked into it.
Then why did she agree to let you come?
Because I turned my head and looked toward the door. Because she believes in truth, even when it hurts. Richard has begun privately digging into my entire past, with no malicious intent. He simply wants to know the full story of who I am. He has asked my colleagues, doctoral students, and publishing editors. Some of them told him,
Elizabeth Shaw is the youngest associate professor in the creative writing program, but the Daisy Lim academic incident 4 years ago put her tenure review on indefinite hold.
Why was it suspended? Because of that academic report 4 years ago. Many faculty members believed your severity directly broke Daisy. The vote frozen your tenure review indefinitely.
You went out of your way to ask about my tenure?
I asked.
They told you my review was suspended?
Exactly. All of it.
I already knew the answer.
Do you still plan to teach?
I never stopped teaching, regardless of the vote.
Elizabeth, you didn't come here because you needed money. Your career stalled with that incident.
After Daisy left, my teaching evaluations, book publications, and tenure review all ground to a halt. I came here to find a reason to keep going.
Have you found it?
Yes. Now that her thesis has been authenticated and she's effectively graduated, I can finally move forward.
What about your tenure?
The vote hasn't been recast, but I've stopped waiting. I started moving forward a long time ago. Richard was uncharacteristic of himself. He declined the foundation gala and brought me to the Boston Public Garden. He told me this path had always been Daisy's favorite, and when winter came, the frozen fountain glistened like crystal.
You retain every last detail of everything she once said to this day. Back then I only knew she'd come, not her words. Now I know she wanted me to remember every single one.
Richard, you finally moved past your fixation on her death and seen everything she left behind.
You walked me through it.
I only stayed by your side quietly.
If Daisy were still alive, what would she think of us?
She'd be relieved that someone submitted her final graft for her and that someone helped me out of this rut.
Would she bless us?
Yes. She feared most in her lifetime that the two of us would be stuck in place. Thankfully, neither of us has stopped moving forward. Richard added things just for me in the villa without removing Daisy's stuff. He put my poetry books, my sencha tea, and a warm reading lamp by the armchair. You've added quite a few new things.
There'll be someone living here long-term from now on. An extra lamp isn't a waste.
How are you so sure I'll stay?
I practiced beef bourguignon 4 times. I'm making it for you tonight.
Was it no good the first few times?
The first 3 were off on timing. The second batch burned completely. I didn't serve it to you.
You practiced 4 times specifically?
You taught me what persistence means. I'm not cooking to please you. I genuinely want to take care of you properly.
Richard reorganized Daisy things and bought a special bookshelf. He marked it Daisy Complete Works instead of the cold label, Her Belongings. What are you doing?
Give her a dedicated space to display all her creations, not just a pile of leftover belongings.
Aren't you afraid to face the pain in her writing?
I am afraid. Yet I fear more that her innermost thoughts will never be seen by anyone.
Richard opened the green notebook and read words I told all my students.
Writers are translators of suffering. Daisy always kept this thought in mind, and back then she constantly pondered the meaning of life.
She often came to me after class. Scared of therapists, she only believed me. Writings can be imperfect, but she herself wasn't broken.
What thought traps you?
For 4 years, I've kept imagining what if I hadn't turned in that report.
Reporting the plagiaring back then, then followed the rules. Then why can't you let it go all these years?
Rules are rigid, but real people bear the consequences. Richard didn't book a counseling session for himself. Instead, he contacted a psychologist, Margaret, on my befi the Amoria's Ferry of in between Maymets. So is that it? In times is Climina side IB behalf.
Miss Elizabeth? Richard says you've been fixing all Daisy's regrets for her to make up for her.
I really am wrapping everything up for her.
Have you ever thought that the person you're truly saving is yourself, the one who made that hard choice back then?
What does this mean?
You filed the report properly back then. You weren't wrong, but you paid a high price. All you do to make up is to ease your old guilt, not just for Daisy.
Does everything I do now even matter?
2 things. Give Daisy a proper closure and slowly pay off the heavy cost from that right choice back then.
He left the clinic, waited in the hall, and gave her warm, salty sencha. How did you know I wanted this?
You don't need empty comfort. What you need is someone who remembers all your likes.
This is exactly what Daisy hoped you would back then.
Are you speaking for her now or following your own heart?
I speak her hidden thoughts for her and stay here to make peace with my guilt. Daisy's mom came. Alice flew here from Portland, Oregon. She had a gray cashmere sweater and gray hair. Her eyes looked just like Daisy's, always seeming to ask questions. She sat in the villa's living room with sencha Richard brewed.
Elizabeth, I received Harvard's letter in Portland. Daisy's thesis was accepted and approved.
Yes, ma'am.
I always thought she left nothing behind. But she did, and you found it for her.
She left them all along. She wrote 17 notebooks. No one ever opened them.
She didn't plagiarize. You know that, right?
Ma'am.
She came to me in her 2nd year. She said, Mom, I can't write this. I copied someone's structure. I don't know what to tell Professor Sue.
Then why didn't she come to me?
Because she was afraid you'd be disappointed. She told me, Mrs. Elizabeth was the first person who made me believe I could write. If she found out I couldn't, I'd lose everything.
I sat there. The living room was quiet. Richard stood at the door and didn't come in. Ma'am, she wasn't a bad writer. She just messed up that one paper.
You know, she left me a letter before she died. In it, she wrote, Mom, I finished my last paper, but I'm too scared to give it to Ms. Elizabeth. I think she'll remember my bad old essay.
I found that last paper she never handed in. It was sent to Harvard 3 months after she dropped out, untouched until I opened it. She finished it. Alice stared at me. Her eyes, shaped just like daisies, seemed to question me.
Mrs. Elizabeth, was her final paper any good?
Her last essay was about you. You taught her to collect seashells by the sea and told her, some things you don't find, you wait for. Alice cried silently. She bowed her head, her shoulders shaking softly. I knelt in front of her, not touching her. Ma'am, she waited long enough. She finally handed in her seashell. After Daisy's mother passed away, Richard stood in the living room for a long time. Outside the window, the Charles River is thawing, with dark cracks snaking across the ice.
Alice told me something.
What?
She said, I used to think Professor Elizabeth was the one who drove Daisy away. Now I think she's the one who brought her back.
I'm not bringing her back. I'm making it so she doesn't need to come back.
What's the difference?
Coming back means there's unfinished business. Not needing to come back, that means it's done.
Elizabeth, you finished something huge for her. But what about you?
What about me?
What's still unfinished for you?
I stare out the window at the river. The ice is cracking open, revealing the dark water beneath. I have 2 things left undone. One is my own book. I've been writing it for 4 years, revised the first chapter 27 times. The other is...
What is it?
It's learning to accept being loved.
I can stay with you through both. Keep writing your book. And as for accepting love, I can keep learning that too.
I returned to the Harvard campus. I was not there to lecture, but to enter the archives room I had not dared step foot in for 4 years. The manuscript Daisy'd mailed back was filed away in the box labeled Unfinished Student Works 2019. When I opened the box, the pages remained folded exactly as she had left them. I spread open the final page. In the acknowledgation section, it read, "You told me to keep writing." I did. I finished it. I won't disappoint anyone anymore. I stood rooted there, rereading that line in the acknowledgations over and over. I pulled out my phone, snapped a photo, and sent it to Richard. His reply came right away. She wrote it. She waited for you to see it. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows onto the yellowed pages as I lingered in the archives room. Daisy, I see it. I see it.
Richard made up his mind to submit Daisy's final writing, along with her 17 notebooks, to Harvard University's academic archives for filing. Under the title, The Complete Works of Daisy.
He negotiated with the archivist 3 times. An agreement was finally reached. Her name would be recorded in Harvard's alumni register as a posthumous Bachelor of Arts graduate of the class of 2024. I was grading students' homework in the office when he called to tell me about it. Posthumously awarded?
Not a posthumous degree. It's a posthumous completion certification. She finished all the work beyond her coursework. She deserves to be recorded as someone who finished everything here.
She filled 17 notebooks.
17. And now they're archived.
Richard, what you did for her matters more than anything I ever did for her.
Why?
Because you were someone she loved. You remember her. And you remember her whole.
Elizabeth, I did it for you.
For me?
Because you wanted her to be remembered. You made that happen. I just helped you finish it.
I held the phone. Outside the window, the Charles River was thawing, and the sound of running water drifted up from beneath the bridge. Then, can you move forward now?
I am. A little every day. Sometimes I walk far and look back. But she's gone. And in that spot, you're standing there now.
Richard asked me to meet him at Harvard Law School library. Not to read books, but to look at a window.
Daisy used to write here. She said, "This window looks out on the river. The river makes carrying on feel natural."
I sat in the chair she had once occupied. The window faced the Charles River. The water flowed onward, with broken chunks of ice drifting downstream. How many times did she sit here?
I asked the librarian. She reserved that 47 times.
47 times. She wrote 47 times.
Elizabeth, Do you know why I brought you here?
Why?
Because I want you to sit where she sat and realize this seat can belong to someone new now.
That someone?
That someone is you. You don't have to take her seat. You can sit beside it. She's finished. The space is empty now. You can fill it.
Richard,
You don't have to answer now. Just sit here. Watch the river. Know that carrying on is natural.
He began doing things that felt far more like Richard, not a dominating tycoon, but someone learning how to love a living person. For the first time, he asked me, "What would you like to eat today?" instead of "Daisy used to love this." For the first time, he asked me, "How was your day?" rather than "Do you remind me of her today?" One night, we made stew in the kitchen. He did the cooking, and I helped out.
Elizabeth?
Hmm?
I was thinking about something at the office today.
What is it?
If you hadn't been Daisy's advisor, would you still be here?
No,
Why not?
because I needed to resolve that matter. Not resolve her, resolve myself.
Is it resolved now?
Her thesis is submitted. Her work is archived. Her name is on the graduation roster. I'm still on the way.
Then I'll walk the rest of the way with you.
You don't mind how long the road is?
I walked a long road waiting for her. Now I'm taking a different path. No more waiting. Walking side by side with you.
I received an email from the Harvard Academic Ethics Committee. Subject, application for review of the academic misconduct report dated 4 years ago. My fingers had gone on ice cold by the time I clicked it open. Elizabeth, we have received the proof of work completion and honor certification submitted by Miss Daisy Lynn's family. Upon review by the committee, the finding of intentional plagiarism stated in the original academic misconduct report contains procedural flaws. It is hereby resolved that the original report be removed from the faculty file and transferred to the student academic record, noted as remedial action completed. I read it 3 times.
What are you reading?
The report. It's been removed from my file.
What does that mean?
It means that chapter from 4 years ago is closed. My tenure review can move forward.
You can move forward now.
I could always move forward, but this chapter, it's finally no longer tucked inside my file. The department head wants to meet with me. Professor Andrew Harvett, 62 years old, with a British accent.
Elizabeth, I received the notification from the Ethics Committee. Your file has been cleared.
I saw it.
I want to ask you something, not as department chair, but as a colleague.
Ask.
How did you get through those 4 years?
I gazed at the flames in the fireplace. I taught. I graded. I sat at my desk every Thursday afternoon, pretending nothing had happened.
But in reality,
I thought about Daisy every night. About the way she looked at me during the hearing. About when she said I didn't mean to copy, and how I could have asked, "Then what were you thinking?" I didn't ask.
should you have?
I should have. I was too focused on the rules, but I didn't. So I did what came after for her.
Elizabeth, the vote for your tenure will be held again next month. I'll be voting yes.
Thank you.
But I'm not voting yes because your record is clean. I'm voting yes because for those 4 years, you didn't stop. You kept teaching. You kept writing. You kept finishing what a departed student left undone.
I couldn't stop.
Then don't.
Richard began appearing on Harvard's campus. He is not the man who picks her up after class in Daisy's photo. He is the person who waits for her after class. What are you reading?
Your poetry collection. 7th time.
7 times?
7th time I noticed. When you write about the sea, it's always about waiting. But when you write about the river, it's about moving forward. You're walking ahead.
So, have I moved forward?
You have. You just glance back sometimes.
Is glancing back wrong?
It's fine, as long as you don't walk backward. Where to today?
Public Garden, the fountain's thawed. In April, I gave a public reading of my own poems at the annual reading hosted by Harvard's Creative Writing Program, where I was invited as an alumni mentor guest. It was the first time in 4 years that I had read my work in public. Over 100 people were seated in the auditorium. Richard was seated in the third row, not in the patron seats, but in the audience seats. Today I'll read a poem, written 4 years ago. I haven't read it aloud since. I flipped to the first page. You sat across the table, gripping the edge, your nails dug into the wood. I asked you, did you plagiarize? You said, I'm not sure. I paused for a beat. A heavy silence fell over the whole room. Richard sat in the third row. He did not move an inch. I should have asked you, do you still write? But I asked if you plagiarized. I followed the rules, I observed procedure, I filed the report, and then you were gone. For 4 years I've wondered, if I'd asked, do you still write? Would you still be sitting across from me? I closed the poetry book. The room went silent for 2 seconds. Then the applause broke out. This wasn't just polite applause. It was the kind of clap you gave when someone said what everyone had been thinking. As I walked off the stage, Richard was waiting in the hallway. He didn't say a single word. He just handed me that cup of senshi. The poetry reading clip was uploaded to the school's official website. Its title read, Professor Elizabeth, the same poem 4 years apart. In the comment section, someone wrote, she's the one who submitted her student's thesis for her. Another user posted, she's still writing. She never stopped. That night in my office, I got a message from Daisy's mother. She had seen the video from Portland. She wrote, Professor Elizabeth, he watched you read it. She must be smiling. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I wrote back a single word. Richard texted me. Off work yet? I wrote back. Yeah. I turned off the desk lamp. The Charles River outside glowed silver in the moonlight. 4 years ago, I sat across this desk working on that report. The river looked just like this back then, but I couldn't see the water flowing then. Now I can. Richard's firm held the launch of the Daisy Lynn Memorial Writing Fund at Boston Public Library, aiding young writers who dropped out due to financial or mental struggles to finish their works.
Daisy Lynn wrote a piece. No one ever saw it because it wasn't finished, but she wrote it. 4 years later, her advisor finished it for her. So I thought, if there'd been a fund to help her through that year, she might still be here. This fund won't bring anyone back, but it can help the living finish.
I was sitting in the front row. Everyone's eyes were on him, my now inhumane. But the second his gaze landed on me, he said something.
Completion is the greatest respect, not forgiveness.
After the launch ceremony wrapped up, he came looking for me in the lounger area.
You're right. Completion is the greatest respect.
When did I say that?
You said it in the kitchen. You were mincing garlic. You said, completion isn't forgiveness. It's about letting unfinished things stop hanging in the balance.
You remembered?
I remember every word you've said, because your words aren't like hers. You're not trying to persuade me. You're walking me forward.
The tenure committee's vote results are announced. 9 in favor, 1 abstention, 0 opposed.
Elizabeth, you passed.
Passed?
Passed, Elizabeth. Your title is now Associate Professor with Tenure.
I set the phone down and sink back into my chair. Sunlight spills through the window and rests light on the back of my hands. 4 years ago, I sat right here in this very office to hand in that report. Back then, April sunlight streamed outside the window just like this. But my hands had been shaking nonstop that day. Not anymore. Richard showed up at my office door at 3 in the afternoon. He took one look at my face and knew something was off.
You passed?
I passed.
You don't look particularly excited?
I was thinking, if I hadn't submitted that report 4 years ago.
If you hadn't submitted, would she still be alive?
I don't know.
You'll never know, but you spent 4 years submitting her thesis, archiving her work, reading her final piece. You did everything you could.
What about you? Did you do everything you could?
I set up the fund. I archived her work. I learned to make stew. I'm learning not to weigh you and her on the scales.
Have you let go yet?
I'm letting go, bit by bit. Today, when you got tenure, I let go a little. Next time you publish your book, I'll let go a bit more. Every step forward you take, I let go a little further.
When?
Until the day I stand beside you and don't look back anymore.
I've started writing a new book. It's not a collection of poems. It's nonfiction. The title is The Stand-In, The Mentor, and the Unfinished Souls. The first chapter is titled Report. 4 years ago, I submitted a report that followed every rule but changed everything. If it was a mistake, I can never undo it. But if it was a correct but costly decision, the only thing I can do is finish what she never got to complete. I'd been writing in the office all day. At 8 that night, I finally stopped. Outside the window, the Charles River glinted dimly beneath the streetlights. I shot Richard a text. I finished the first chapter.
How far did you get?
I wrote up to this part. After she left, I sat in that same chair. The chair's still there, but she's not coming back. I had to learn to sit in it, not to wait for her, but to keep writing.
Good.
Catherine asked me to meet her. Not at her Beacon Hill mansion, but at her apartment in Back Bay. She made tea for us, senchi with sea salt. You learned my way of drinking tea?
Daisy sent me a list of teas from school. Said you taught her to drink sencha.
She mentioned me to you?
Many times. She said you were the strictest teacher she'd ever had, strict enough to make her believe she could do it. When she couldn't, she blamed herself, not you.
Lady,
Elizabeth, I asked to see you today to say this. I was wrong about you before. When you submitted that report, you were protecting academic integrity. After Daisy was gone, you protected her memory. You've kept doing the right thing. The cost was high, but you did it. So, if my son wants you to stay with him, I consent.
it was approved by the patriarch of an old Boston blue blood family. Lady, you don't need to give your consent. This is not a request.
You're right, it isn't.
Where do you want to live? Not Beacon Hill. Somewhere you want.
The sea, but not Cape Cod. Somewhere quiet with a view of the ocean. Not a sea of remembrance. A sea of everyday life. A month later, he took me to see a house. An old wooden cabin along the Maine coast, a 2-hour drive from Boston. Its windows face straight out to the Atlantic Ocean. The gray seawater shimmers like scattered silver in the sunlight. Why this house?
Because you spoke of the sea of everyday life last time. You can see the ocean here. But the sea isn't a backdrop for what once happened. It's a backdrop for what is happening now.
Richard,
Mm-hmm.
what if one day I'm no longer the one speaking for her, just myself? Will you still stand at this window?
I will stand at this window, not because of Daisy, because you're standing beside me.
My book is published. The Stand-In, The Mentor, and The Unfinished Self. The cover features a photograph of the Charles River on the day the ice broke. The ice splitting open, water flowing. A week before publication, I made my final round of revisions. I rewrote the last paragraph of the final chapter 3 times. First draft, she left, but I am still here. Second draft, she left, I am still here, and I am moving forward. Third draft, she left, I am still here, I am moving forward, and someone walks beside me. I chose the third version. The room was full. Students, colleagues, Professor Harper, Catherine, and Daisy's mother, flown in from Portland. Richard sat in the front row. 4 years ago, I sat at my desk and wrote a report. That report brought Daisy Lynn's Harvard career to an end. 4 years later, I wrote a book. It tries to answer a question I could never resolve. If that report was wrong, what could I still get right? I got one thing right. I didn't stop. I submitted her thesis for her. I organized her work. I put her name on the graduate roll. I never asked her, "Are you still writing?" But over 4 years, I wrote that answer for her. She was still writing. She never stopped writing. This book isn't about her. It's about how the unfinished people find completion in one another. Daisy's mother was looking at me. Her eyes were bright, like Daisy's eyes. I stood there. The tenure paused 4 years ago, the career frozen, the guilt locked away, all of it unlocked by applause in this moment. After the press conference, Daisy's mother came up to me. She was holding the book I signed in her hand.
Elizabeth, if my daughter gets to read this book, she would say, Mom, Elizabeth wrote about me.
She would, because she's already inside these pages. Not as the student accused of plagiarism, as someone unfinished, yet made whole.
I'll take out her notebooks when I get home tonight. I'll read them again.
When you read them,
I know. I'll remember she found closure. Not that she left.
he came closer. No power play, just approach.
That third version you mentioned in your book, you wrote that someone walks beside you.
I did. It's true.
Is that someone me?
It's you.
Then will you let me walk beside you always?
How long have you been walking beside me?
Half a year?
Is half a year enough?
Half a year is enough for me to know. I want to walk beside you for a lifetime.
Richard. I watched the thinning crowd inside while outside Boston's nightscape deepened. That third draft I wrote in my book, it isn't finished yet.
Not finished?
The final line reads, "Someone walks beside me." But I haven't written down who that someone is.
Then you can write the name.
I can. But before I write the name, I need to be certain of one thing.
What is it?
I am certain I love you. Not because I love you for her. I love you for myself.
Who you did love?
The man who traded whiskey for sencha. The man who learned to make that stew 4 times over. The man who set up a foundation for Daisy. The man who makes me believe unfinished things can finally be completed.
The man.
That man is Richard.
Elizabeth. I can be certain of one thing. I love you. Not because you remind me of her. I love you because you are you.
We stood in the bookstore's glow. Night flowed down the Charles. So we
keep walking.
Where to?
Down the road towards that everyday sea.
I submitted my first course proposal after receiving tenure, a new seminar titled Doubles, Mentors, and the Ethics of Writing. 8 hours after the registration system opened, all 12 spots were filled.
Today is your class. I won't come.
The girl was in Daisy's seat from 4 years ago. What are we discussing today? Elizabeth, we enrolled in this course because of the story in your book. We want to know, how does the unfinished become finished? First lesson, finished does not mean perfect. To be finished means that no matter what, you take the final step. Elizabeth, my name is Mina. Senior Daisy was my older cousin. She talked about you. She said you were the only one who never lowered your standards for her. She said, if Elizabeth says I can write, then I truly can. She wrote about you too. In her journal, she called you North. I never dared come to Harvard after she passed away, but after reading your book, I feel she found closure. I could finally come. Mina, that chair you're sitting in, your cousin sat in it 47 times, but you can sit here many more times, times that belong only to you. I looked at her. That face had Daisy's shadow, but its own light. I admitted Mina into my graduate workshop. Her first assignment was a short story about a stand-in, a girl who sits exams for another, only to be discovered in the end. I paused when I reached the final lines. The ending works. A stand-in is not an impersonation. A stand-in borrows your legs to travel a road you cannot take alone. Yet once the journey ends, those legs must be returned. Second week, Mina submitted a revised draft. The ending changed. The stand-in finished that stretch of road. She left her own legs there as well, for she made up her mind she would turn back no more. She would set out to walk her own path. Better, because choosing not to turn back and choosing to keep moving forward are one and the same. Richard spent a weekend in that wooden house in Maine. He brought Daisy 17 notebooks, not relics, but reading material. He sat before the fireplace and finished the last one.
The last entry she wrote says, "Wait for me to come back."
Come back to where?
Go back to finish it. She always wanted to go back and finish writing it. She thought she owed me an ending.
What she owed was herself.
The debt she owed herself, I've settled it for her. You've settled it for her. The foundation has settled it for her.
What about her now?
She doesn't need to come back anymore. She's already here, preserved within her notebooks, your writings, and the name of the foundation.
Richard.
Hmm.
She kept you waiting for such a long time.
I did.
You're willing to wait for someone for years. That's because you love them.
I loved her.
What about you now?
I love you now. It's not the same. Loving her was waiting. Loving you is moving forward. They're completely different.
Summer. The coast of Maine. Richard built a small deck outside the cabin facing straight out toward the Atlantic.
You can sit here when you write. Watch the ocean.
I sit in a chair on the deck, the manuscript my new book spread is Rosny's, my second book, Roasted Tea and Unfinished People. Sea wind rolls in off the Atlantic. Richard, your foundation has its first grantor. A Vietnamese-American undergrad at BU, she submitted a short story about being seen. The review board approved unanimously.
What's her name?
Min Nien.
Did she finish it?
She wrote it, but it wasn't complete. The fund helped her finish it.
Then tell her, completion is the greatest respect.
You remember.
I remember every word you say. They're the signposts I follow as I walk.
Then I have a question.
Ask.
What do we do after I finish this book?
We keep doing what we've always done. You write, I watch, the ocean stays with us.
Just that?
Just that. Because that's enough. For a long, long time.
Before my second book's publication, Professor Harper retired. His last faculty meeting brought the announcement. I would take over as director of the creative writing program. Daisy's notes will be kept in the archives for years to come. Her name will always be associated with the word completion.
Elizabeth, you came to my office right after the hearing 4 years ago. You said, I think I did something wrong.
I remember.
You were wrong back then. The rules were correct, only the timing was misplaced. But you are in the right now. You spent 4 years making amends for that old fault.
So what about now?
You're right now. You can go forward.
I'm on my way.
Is someone with you?
There's someone with me.
Good.
When the book was published, Richard purchased 5 copies. 1 copy went on the living room bookshelf at Beacon Hill, 1 at the cabin in Maine, 1 in his office, and 1 beside Daisy's archive box, a place meant for her story to stand by side with mine. The 5th copy he gave to me. A line was inscribed on the flylay. You are the one who finished her journey. You are also the one who led me onto a new path. Thank you. As I took the book, I noticed another faint line written underneath on the flylade. Roasted tea is in the kitchen. Sea salt is beside the tea can. Last line you wrote, are you sure it's for me?
I'm sure.
Can I take it home then?
You're already home.
Autumn. The coastal cabin in Maine. The wind on the deck carries a chill.
You finished the final chapter?
The last line. I am not staying to wait for her to come back. I stay to finish what she left undone. Then I will follow my own path.
Have you reached the end of your own path?
No, I'm still walking, but I'm not hurrying anymore.
Why not?
Because there is someone beside me. Richard, I finished what she left undone. I finished it for you. Now, I have finished for myself.
What have you finished for yourself?
The journey from stand-in to myself, from mentor to writer, from guilt to moving onward.
Then who are you now?
I am Elizabeth, director of Harvard's creative writing program, author of 2 books. Someone who takes sencha with sea salt. I love a person who traded whiskey for sencha.
Then who am I now?
You are Richard. You founded a fund for people with unfinished journeys. You learned to make stew. You spend summers by the sea. You love someone who walked out of being a stand-in and became herself. You stay seated on the deck. The sun sinks toward the ocean, deep tangria light shattering across the waves. The cup of roasted tea rests on the railing. Through the ceramic, one can hear the slow melt of sea salt settled at the bottom. What are we having tomorrow?
The stew. The 5th attempt.
Will it be better than the 4th?
It will. Because you are still beside me.
Richard, you once said completion is the greatest respect.
I did.
Then I finished something today.
What is it?
I completed the journey from stand-in to beloved. So have you. We have both finished. He reaches out and gently takes my hand. His palm is warm. The sun slips fully beneath the ocean. The sky deepens to dark blue, and the first star rises above the horizon.
What will we do tomorrow?
Carry on with what?
Keep going with what?
Carry on watching the sea, carry on writing, carry on loving someone who knows sencha with sea salt. He stares out over the water and smiles softly. That smile's faint, just the last damp line left on the sand as the tide rolls away.
Very well. We carry on.